start at the beginning and ask you what it was like when you first encountered Audre Lorde. What was the impact?
Well, I met her first at the Copenhagen World Women's Conference, and I saw her there at a reading. And she gave the reading. Afterwards, she talked to women there. It was primarily white women, and I was just very impressed by how she talked to us, how she encouraged us to look beyond our immediate concerns, and that she was willing to engage in such an intensive conversation with young white women from a very different place.
Right.
And then I thought, well, this would be great if she could come to Germany.
And so at that point you went to her personally, you went up to her afterwards and asked her?
Yes.
And what was her reaction to you inviting her to Berlin?
Well, I said, I was teaching at the John F. Kennedy Institute for North American Studies at the Free University of Berlin. So I said to her, would you be willing to come there as a guest professor? Because I could try to organize that.
Right.
And she said, yeah, maybe, yes, possibly. So I was very happy. I went back starting to organize that.
Okay.
And
so 4 years passed between the time that you first saw her and she came. Were there problems, or was there any resistance on the part of the university to have?
No, actually the university invited her, but she had already a lot of other commitments, and so it didn't work out till 1984.
Okay.
And I saw her in between again in New York.
Okay. So the relationship continued.
Yeah, and I published a book in between with writings by her and by Audre Lorde, which came out in '83, and it was kind of a book that sort of initiated a lot of discussion on racism and anti-Semitism in the women's movement.
I see. Okay.
So they knew already about
so
her when she came.
So the public was prepared for
Yes.
her. How did you come up with the structure of the film? I know there's a lot of archival material, personal material.
Yeah.
How is that? How did you organize that?
My idea had always been to make a film that would show Audre on stage and off stage, because I had just been taking pictures in a lot of personal contexts. Plus, I had recorded all her seminars and recorded by not video but audio her readings. So I had a lot of audio material, and my idea was to show her in relation to Black Germans and the movement she initiated, basically, or helped develop, and with white women and the discussion on racism she really pushed for. Then in the context of her illness and the treatment she received, and her international, her view of the Black diaspora, which had really expanded through coming to Europe. So those were, plus the private parts, that was my idea for the film.
Can you tell me about your first encounter with Audre Lorde?
Yeah, I met Audre Lorde when I lived in Frankfurt, and she gave a reading. And then years later, she came every year to Germany, and also she was in our apartment, so she lived with us when she was there. So yes.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, in the film you spoke about how important it was that she came into your life to help you. She helped you initiate writing, and you said if it hadn't been for her, am I correct?
Yes,
am I remembering correctly?
It was
Okay.
she said you have to write a book about your life as a Black woman in Germany, and also she said write down what is in your head, write it down so you can save more information and write it down. And also it's important for all the other Black people in Germany, and also it was very important for my family in Chicago.